Back in December, I watched a terribly animated Christmas movie called Rhapsody Street Kids Believe in Santa, and it was, no joke, the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and I stand by that. Ever since then, I've wanted to check out more badly animated movies because I love pain, apparently. So I did a bit of research and found an entire subgenre of movie knockoffs so bad that I'm surprised that they even exist. And a lot of them are created by the same person. Yeah, like maybe take a hint. You know, to have your career center around making ripoffs of box office hits is kind of strange, to be honest. I can respect the hustle, and we live in a society. But after looking through all of the different movies, I ended up landing on this one called Little Bee, which is clearly a ripoff of the notorious Bee Movie. We all know how that movie is, right? To really sell this movie for you, as a cherry on top, Little Bee has a fantastic IMDb score of 1.1 out of 10. That sounds like a great movie. So the story starts out with two bees. No birds though. Glad that we don't have to have that talk. And we're introduced to our main character, Bee-Nard. Right?
Bee-Nard.
And that's his mom.
I can't stop. I gotta make honey.
Bee-Nard wants to make honey instead of becoming a soldier. That's it. That's the entire plot, actually. The end. And while he's out getting nectar, he decides to skip class and gets lectured by his mom about following the queen's orders or he'll be unalived. Sounds like the queen is a bit of a tyrant.
Listen to me. If the queen knew you were even thinking about breaking ranks, you'd be squished. Stop playing with the nectar. I'll take that and let's get you to school, okay?
When the plot is so flat that you basically know the entire premise of the movie in one line at the very beginning.
You wouldn't be punished if you did as you were told. Just behave like everyone else.
Bee-Nard goes back to class and everybody shares their hopes and dreams.
I'm just a worker, but I want to be a soldier.
If I was a princess, I would have a huge party and invite the whole hive.
Where nearly everyone in the class can't decide if they want the princess or if they just want to be her. A classic conundrum.
You might be fortunate enough to date the princess. That's what I'm talking about. She will be mine.
Then the boomer bee teacher, as I like to call her, Miss Abeluska, tells everyone to give up on their dreams and follow what they were assigned to be.
We haven't changed the way we've done things for over 42 million years, and we're not about to start, no matter what you bees want to be.
Such a boomer. I mean, imagine being a boomer in this economy, am I right? And Miss Abeluska really drives home the idea that the queen is always right and you're always wrong.
And each hive has how many queens?
One queen.
And why do we have so many soldiers?
So that they keep the hive safe.
I kind of imagine that at the start of every single class, they probably recite some sort of pledge to the queen. Okay, class, settle down. Before we start our lesson today on why you're all pathetic, stupid little bees, let's stand for the pledge. There is only one queen. I obey the queen. The queen is always right, and I am always wrong. I will get squished if I disobey the queen. I believe in the queen. Bzzz. Miss Abeluska needs to put the ruler down. She's getting a little aggressive with it. So now it's after class, which means it's soldier training.
You don't know what I can bring.
Soldier training for the boys only, though. Only boy bees can become soldiers. Girl bees stay in the kitchen, where they belong. God, I hated saying that. Bee-Nard is failing every single exercise that he does, and the commander makes fun of him for wanting to switch classes and become a cook, calling him really mean names like chef.
Maybe there's some way you could transfer me to the honey production sector, sir.
I see. So, you're a cook.
Hey Bee-Nard, how about you just buzz out of here? What are you, a girl? Nice, man. That was good. Loser! Loser!
Don't let him get to you, Bee-Nard. That drone's got nothing better to do than to be a jerk.
Now, in a shocking turn of events, we meet another bee named B.U.T. Does everybody's name start with B? No thoughts, head empty. There is not a single thought behind those eyes.
You realize as a worker, your presence here is completely inexcusable. You don't want to get me into any trouble. Misfits like us need to stick together, don't we?
She tells Bernard that she wants to become a soldier. and they both promise not to tell anybody that they want to do different things.
But in return, you have to promise me not to tell anyone that I'm working on a new recipe for the most delicious honey yet.
They agree to become each other's accomplices and help each other out,
That's why you'll be my accomplice.
with Beanard secretly making honey and BUT finding all of the nectar for Beanard. Wait a second, that sounds pretty one-sided, actually. So now in a separate plot, the princess comes to the queen with questions, only to be told to go back to class.
Why don't you run along now like a good little princess?
The princess then starts to think that something is up with Beauty, but she can't quite put her finger on it. Or her stinger on it.
Let's get you down from there.
Suspicious. Beanard begins to make his special honey. Then they sing about fate and listening to your intuition.
I hear a voice inside of me. I know that it won't steer me wrong.
Right, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that this is kind of a musical.
So swarm of endless possibilities.
Hold on, now they're recording a TikTok, right? And then left. All the while, a beekeeper who looks a little sus, to be honest with you, tries to destroy the hive with a shovel. At this point, there's two separate plots. A bee plot involving the princess, Beauty, and Beanard, and the human plot, as I like to call it, where the beekeepers are the enemy of the hive. And just a side note, the beekeepers want to remove the hive because apparently the honey doesn't taste good.
This honey just isn't any good anymore. Well, I guess that's it for this hive.
And the bees then think that they're under attack and going into a war.
For the queen!
Back in the hive, the princess just so happens to run into Beanard, telling him what she overheard and that she needs to make a special honey to end the war.
Can you whip some up immediately? Sure, that's easy.
After Beanard makes the honey, the head chef shows up from hiding in a basket and tastes Beanard's honey, only to realize that his is absolutely terrible and he put the hive in danger.
And my honey has put the hive in jeopardy. That is terrible.
So he does absolutely nothing and hides. Waste of a plot point, but okay. Now the entire hive is trying to fight back against the beekeepers, thinking that they're in some sort of war.
We're being attacked from the south!
Well, this is it. We gotta do it. We need to pour the honey now.
Beanard, Beauty, and the princess are now also outside, and Beanard tries to fly down to release all of the honey, but gets sprayed by the beekeeper, falling to his death?
Beanard, wake up, please. Please, we're counting on you.
What will we ever do with our main character dead? We're all gonna die.
No, it won't.
Oh, there you go. Beanard is back, everybody. Look at that. Oh, wait, never mind. I take that back. Okay, right. Everything's good. Everybody's safe.
This stuff is delicious. No way we're getting rid of this hive.
Oh, look at that. They all followed their hearts and saved the day. Ooh-hoo.
We have won the war! Thanks to the efforts of a brave soldier.
So now Beanard is a hero and saved the hive from the dangerous war criminals, aka the beekeepers.
Beanard, you're a hero. The whole hive owes you their lives.
Only for a soldier to then arrest him for doing such horrible things.
For disobeying the ancient laws of the bumblebee hierarchy and undermining our society. And then there's a second charge for unauthorized entry and use of the honey worker's kitchen. For the third, making honey while holding the rank of soldier. The fourth is for defending the hive without properly notifying the commanding officer.
Number 5, you did not obey the queen. Number 6, you are a loser. Number 7, you are a cook, which is for girls. Number 8, you are a pathetic bee. Number 9, your mom will die. They're so horrible, so horrible. Now, this is what I'd like to call the final boss battle with the queen.
Choose your character.
Round 1.
I can't believe what you've done. It's unfathomable.
Ooh.
Was he present when his squadron was called into action?
He was nowhere to be found.
Well, that's good enough for me. I I feel sorry for you, Bernard. You're doomed to be alone. Take this coward from my sight.
Don't you realize the honey saved us?
This is absurd. You don't actually think I don't know that.
Fatality.
There's probably 15 minutes of everybody trying to convince the queen that Bernard did the right thing, and finally, probably within the last minute, the queen randomly changes her mind and says that everything's okay and Bernard is a hero.
By the power of the hive, as its queen, I honor this hero, the first ever soldier and chef, and savior of the hive.
So basically the life lesson, once again, is following your heart. Who would have guessed? Right, it was the first line Bernard said in the movie.
It's just, I can't stop. I gotta make honey. I'm good at it. And I'm not gonna stop until the whole world knows how good.
Well, that's that. I'm never getting that time back. There's nothing for me to even add. That was just a lot. I still don't feel like it's as bad as Rhapsody Street Kids. I still don't. It's close, but I don't think it's there yet. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Just remember, stay cool.